Good morning YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today is the end of week 3 of this bodybuilding prep and it's also Sunday. So today's going to be a busy enough day. I have training at 9 o'clock. It is about 25 to 8 at the moment, so I have to have breakfast pretty soon. I'm not going to show you my breakfast, I think you've seen that enough times. I have training this morning at abs, so 9 a.m, Sunday mass as per usual. So it's going to be heavy squats on the menu. I'll be showing you some clips from training today too, but today's going to be quite busy. I have like the IPF AGM is on the afternoon. I won't be showing you that. I have a bit of work to do, have like programs and some content to make. Also, it's my sister's 21st today, so we're going out for dinner as a family. Now, one of the reasons I am going to mention that is I'm on prep obviously, but I want to show you how I go about planning for a meal out in the evening and the kind of modifications I'll make to my diet throughout the day, the kind of food selections I'll make and how I go about them, okay? Because I think it's very key for people to understand how they can still fit in meals out into their diet, like within reason, okay? I think it's important for people to understand how to approach going for meals out as opposed to just hermetizing themselves altogether, okay? Now, at a certain point, meals out will become like a no-go, like as my calories get very, very low and I need to be very, very accurate with my tracking, the actual risk to reward will just not be worth going out for food because I'll probably enjoy my meals a little bit better because I know what's going into them. It's going to create less anxiety and I'm going to have a lot more confidence in knowing that I'm hitting my macros and there's going to be less variability in like sodium intake, for example, so my weight won't be spiking or I won't be triggering any kind of high food reward that will come with having the very, very nice food that they make in a restaurant versus my boring bland food, okay? So that's what I'm going to be showing you today mainly in regards to weight loss. So weight loss has been pretty slow, I'm not gonna lie. So it's the end of week 3. I think I would jinx myself in the master plan video where I said like, you know, I was already down 1.5 kilos. So since that week my weight hasn't really budged, so I'll throw my average weight up on the screen there. But first week my average weight was 93.2. Second week it was 93.07, as you can see there, and now this week it's 92.83. so you can kind of see from the weigh-ins my weight pretty much stayed in like not the 92.9 to 93.3 range for like ages, and then it eventually dropped by like almost 1 kilo. So hopefully that trend will continue now over the next week. So Brad is away on holidays next week, so I won't have any kind of check-in until the Easter weekend. We decided, or Brad decided even, that if my weight continues to trend down and it's below 92 on average for this week going forward, then we'll keep my nutrition as planned. If I do not have that, and if I'm 92 or more, well then we'll only have one high day next weekend, and then probably the following week we'll have a bit of a calorie drop, which I mean is to be expected. At the end of the day, my calorie intake is not low at all. You know, I'm still having 3,300 Monday to Friday and 3,700 Saturday and Sunday. Still pretty high calorie intake. I'm very comfortable. I am hungry, but you know, I'm not absolutely starving. I'm just enjoying my meals more. So I mean, it's not a terrible thing. That's pretty much it. I am going to make my breakfast now and I will see you in the gym.
What is up, people? So here we are in the gym, starting off with some empty bar squats. So when I am warming up, I will start to replicate the movement I'm about to do with body weight and then start to incrementally add load until I get to my top sets, okay? So what that looks like for me in this session is bodyweight squats, empty bar, and then take 50 kilo jumps up until I get to my warm-up weight, or 50 kilos thereabouts, right? As you get stronger, your warm-up jump size will increase, but ideally you're looking to take maybe 3 to 4 warm-up sets before you get to your top weight. If you want to take more, you can, but to be honest, I think if you take any more than 4, 5, you're just going to be wasting energy. So this is my last warm-up set here. You can see there I took 4 warm-ups to get to that point. Now I'm going to get to my top single. So the top single is 230. It was meant to be at 7, but it's definitely a little bit harder. Take a moment to look at the time I spend getting underneath the bar, get my feet underneath the bar, getting stacked underneath the bar, big breath in, only 2 to 3 steps back. You don't want to be walking back like 5 to 10 steps. You want to keep that walk out nice and short and preserve as much energy as you can for that heavy weight, okay? So yeah, a little bit tougher on that single. Definitely misjudge RP, but look, what can you do? Next week I can be better. That's what I can do. So this is my last back off set. So I like to do ascending sets for my back offs. So I started off at 230. I started off at 200, then did 205, and now this is 210. So the reason I like doing that is, well, first of all, it's a bit more exciting than keeping the weight constant throughout the entire sets. But it helps me start off with something that's going to be a little bit easy and then end on something that's going to be quite difficult. So it's going to be pushing, you know, the kind of 8 to 9 RPE, which is kind of the target RPE range that I'm looking to aim for. So this was a nice set. Could be some kind of PB. I'm not really sure at this stage. After that, I got into belt squats. So big fan of this variation. Not so much a big fan of the machine. So the hole in the center is just a little bit too wide, I think. So it does kind of irritate my hips at times, but it's better than the leg press we have. But I do like the variation in a sense because it does just load the hips. We're not loading the spine as much. We can keep in a lot of specificity to the kind of squatting pattern that we'll be doing in powerlifting. And yeah, it's just a very nice feeling sensation on the quads and glutes too. Bench, so top single is 145. So I've kept my top single at this weight for like the last 2 to 3 weeks potentially. The reason I've kept it the same is because I am using this to mainly preserve my skill at the singles and bench, but I am more so concentrated with pushing my back off sets, similar to the squat, for example. I'm more so concerned about building my volume on the fives versus on the singles, because I'm in a volume building phase. I'm in a period where I'm looking to build muscle mass if I can in this deficit, and that is going to require me to be pushing the volumes on my back off sets. There's one error I think people make when they do come to programming in singles, is they try to force progression on that without actually focusing on the actual main work they're meant to be doing, which is increasing their back off sets. So yeah, happy enough with how the bench is going at the moment. It's definitely not decreasing, which is positive. Next up is going to be some single arm pull downs. So got these off Nick Gloff and they do feel quite nice. Now something that would be a little bit better would be if that knee pad was closer to my thigh, for example, just because it would keep me a lot more stable. So the knee restraint is quite an important factor when we are looking at a pull down, because that weight is trying to pull us forward, and if we don't have something that's pinning us in place, then we're not going to be able to output as high forces, because we're going to be focusing more so on really trying to stabilize our lower body, which is going to reduce the amount of force we can produce from our upper body. So yeah, 2 sets per side here, very nice contractions. Following those, I got onto a superset of arms. So starting off with some hammer curls. Hammer curls, definitely one of my favorite arm variations. Been doing them for years and they haven't failed me. So the one reason I like these so much is you can load them up pretty heavily compared to other bicep exercises. With the dumbbell as well, in that neutral grip position, you're going to be targeting forearm muscles. You're going to be also targeting brachioradialis, which is a muscle that is part bicep, part forearm too, and then as well the long-headed triceps too. So your arms are just going to look a lot more kind of jacked without necessarily needing to flex. So following these, I did do some skull crushers. So skull crushers and like these, right? For arms as well, you should be looking to warm up the joint, because if you don't warm up the joint, you won't be able to use the heavy loads that you should be able to use. So for these, for example, I used to always get elbow pain with them. However, since I started doing warm-ups before them, boom, no elbow pain. So now I'm loading up 22.5s here, and my arms have grown a lot since I've actually started to warm up my arms, which is, it should be intuitive, but most people don't do it either. So definitely make sure you're warming up them guns.
Okay, so we have been back from the gym for ages at this stage. So it's about 5 o'clock now. I am meeting the family at 6. So I'm going to talk you through how I have went about my day with food. Okay, so when I'm going out for food, and even though now my calories today is a high day, I'm on 3,725, it's still a high amount of calories, okay? However, I'm competing in a contest prep, okay? I need to lose body fat. So for that reason, because I'm eating out, I'm still trying to be quite conservative with what I'm going to pick. Okay, so I'm going to show you my FitnessPal logs in a few seconds here, just for the day. But I'm not actually going to be aiming to hit that 3.7 mark today, purely for the fact that I can't really estimate accurately how much calories are going to be in the food I'm going to have. I can have a best guess, because I've been doing this a long time. However, you're better off, if you are in a fat loss phase, to be a bit conservative and even leave more calories spare than you necessarily need for the day. Okay, now to be honest, for me, that's quite easy at the moment because I'm on 3,700. It's not low calories at all. If I was on much lower calories, 2,500, 2,000, then that's going to be a bit trickier. And to be honest, in a fat loss phase, if you're on 2,000 calories or if you're at 2,500 calories, Like going out for dinner becomes quite difficult for you to do, because if you're looking to even get like one course in a restaurant, you're essentially going to be having 1,000 calorie meal. Okay, so that means for the rest of the day you maybe only have 1,000 or 1,500 calories to work with, and depending on how your appetite is, that might be quite difficult for you to adhere to. So that's kind of why it's not really going to be worth the risk to reward later on in prep when my calories are inevitably lower. Like from about June to July, I'm kind of guessing that I won't be able to go out for food anymore, won't be able to go out for drinks or anything. Like I do have some things planned in the next few weeks and few months that I am going to do. Like I'm going to Lisbon next month with my friends. I'm going to Forbidden Fruit Festival, for example. So these things I'm still going to work in to the contest prep. However, they'll be planned for in advance, similar to the way that today's meal has been too. Okay? So yeah, now I'm going to show you exactly how I went about planning food for today. Okay, so for dinner, we are going to Blue Bar in Skerries. Alright, so 3,700 calories. How am I going about this? Okay, so first things first, over the course of the day, my main concerns here are ensuring that I am eating enough still because I trained this morning, and hitting my protein levels and having a sufficient amount of fiber throughout the day and fruit and veg intake. Okay, they're key because I want to stay full throughout the day. I want to still make sure I'm maximizing muscle protein synthesis and maximizing recovery post training, and yeah, not trying to essentially starve myself, okay? Too much. Appetizers, just looking at these here, right? For the amount of calories I'm allotting myself, because I'm still having my breakfast, lunch, and a snack, none of these really here, not do I want, nor am I willing to kind of give up calories for, okay? But we factor in the likes of wings. Wings are notoriously high calories, especially if you are getting something like a buffalo sauce. You know, they're using a fuck ton of butter and oil making those. So even a small portion here, which is probably going to be in the range of about 10 to 12 wings, that could set me back anywhere between 500 to 800 calories. All right, so a lot of calories just for a small bowl of wings. It's not really worth it. Seafood, I don't like. And then with patatas bravas, patatas bravas as a dish in general can be quite hit and miss, and I don't really want to give up carbs for this, so I bias more carbohydrate intake in my own meals throughout the day. So again, other meals that I'm just not really into, not going to be getting any seafood, so I'm going to go to the mains. So one thing I always recommend to clients is when you are going out for food, if you're in a diet, try to pick things that you can easily distinguish what is in the actual food. Okay, so if you're going for mixed meals like the likes of a curry, or you're going for any kind of something that's like mixed, say for example a pie or something like that, like pasta dishes, stir fries, they're going to be very hard for you to track. Whereas at least if you can see what's on the plate and estimate portion sizes using like hand portions, if you look up Precision Nutrition, they have a fantastic guide on how to use hand portions, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to actually estimate what is going to be in the food. The way I go about it is I go for what I call simple meals, so meals that you can tell exactly what is on the plate. So in this instance, I'm going to go for a fillet steak. Bear in mind that this price tag is 30 quid, so for that price, I'm not expecting this to be any more than an 8-ounce fillet steak. So 8-ounce fillet, that's pretty easy to track. Wild mushrooms, easy. Grilled shallots, easy. Cherry tomato, I'm not going to eat tomato because I don't like them. Rustic fries and sauce. Okay, so I'm not going to get any sauce, but I am going to get fries and the rest. Okay, but the rest of these, like ribeye, very very high fat cut of steak. So if you're looking to blow your calories out of the water, that's a great choice. Fillet steak is the leanest cut of beef that you're going to get. Okay, and then burgers, like again, if you're looking to have about 1,500 calories or more in a meal, like great option. But yeah, not for me at the moment. I won't be getting any sides, I'll just be sticking to what is on my plate, and I will not be ordering a dessert. Okay, so keeping the goal to goal, fat loss is the goal, but I still want to go for a meal with my family, so I'm gonna get the fillet steak, and yeah, that's all I'll get. Okay, and this is what I have eaten today and what I have tracked today. Okay, so I've tracked the dinner, which I'll go through in a second. So keeping the breakfast exact same as I usually have. My lunch stayed the exact same, so working as like some kind of burrito bowl. Again, with both these meals here, just prioritizing the high protein. I have high protein at every single meal, as I think if you are looking to optimize sports performance or increase your muscle mass, like retain your muscle, you should be having protein at each meal. Even if you're just looking to keep your weight pretty much stable and maintain your weight, you should be having high protein at every single meal, as opposed to having a huge bolus in one and not having any in other meals. Protein at each meal, high fiber in each meal too. And then my other meals that I've had so far today, so I had a snack of 300 grams of Greek yogurt, some raspberries, and fiber now as opposed to fiber one. And then with this meal here, that was a smoothie. Okay, so high protein, all high fiber too, prioritizing protein and fiber today because I want to stay full. I want to still maximize muscle protein synthesis, and I still do need to maximize recovery as well as digestion. So that's why I want to maintain a high fiber count as well. Like high fiber foods typically have a very high nutrient density, and one thing that's very common within people who are dieting is that they will run into some kind of nutritional deficiency if they don't stay on top of having sufficient fruit and vegetable intake. Now that you've seen in that, so you can see here my end of day is about 38 grams of fiber. Okay, so that's about 10 grams below what I usually have, because this meal here I typically have a bit more vegetables. So this is what I have tracked for the meal out. So you see here 8-ounce fillet steak, just tracked one from Tesco. I have tracked normal mushrooms. Mushrooms are going to be the same whether they're wild or chestnut, for example. Also tracked the shallots, and then some chips from JD Wetherspoons, because they're a pretty reliably big portion of chips, as well as the actual calories and macros are pretty honest. And then alongside that, I have tracked 20 grams of sunflower oil. So the reason I'm tracking that is because they're going to be cooking all of these in the oil. All right, so that's going to contribute to the calorie intake here, and they may use more. All right, they could use butter as well, but I'm trying to be as honest with myself as I can and trying to account for the worst essentially. And now you can see my end of day average, or my end of day, is 3368. Okay, so that's about 300 calories below what I am aiming for in total. My fat is slightly higher, my carbs are way below the mark, my protein will be pretty much bang on that 240 that I'm aiming for. That is pretty much the most straightforward process in the world, but that is how I go about planning for meals out. I plan early on the day what meals I can have, how can I hit my protein intake, how can I hit my fruit and vegetable intake. I look up the menu of the place, decide what I want to have, what I can have, go towards the easy option on the menu that's going to be easy for me to track, then track it on my MyFitnessPal and try to be as honest as possible. You always have to remember that the chef in the kitchen cares about how much you are enjoying the food, how tasty it is, and will you come back. They don't give a fuck about your macros, they don't care about your diet. Okay, so that's one thing you do have to be mindful of. I do think opting for one course is very manageable to fit in. 2 courses, a bit more difficult. 3 courses, impossible in my opinion, unless your calories are astronomically high. But at the same time, you still want to be prioritizing the goal. Okay, that's what it's all about. So I'm already going to be cutting it for time, getting the scaries, so I will catch you later on. I'll show you some clips of that juicy steak, and yeah, I'll see you later.
Sorry, what? I think I bumped into Mick and Angela, but they were a bit further on the beach.
But I wanted to have something.
So we are home now, and unfortunately I have steps to do, so a bit extreme catching up on steps at this time. However, extreme goals require extreme behaviors, so I am going to be catching up on an episode of Fargo that I would have watched tonight. To be honest, I just did kind of plan my day kind of poorly today. Not a huge amount of time to do my steps, so now is the only time that I can really do it. And 4 weeks into prep, I can't really justify not being perfect when I can be perfect. I mean, I may get into bed a little bit later tonight by maybe about 30 minutes or so, but at the end of the day, I'm keeping the goal. I am adhering to the calories, adhering to the steps, adhering to the training, and come 18th of September, that's all going to add up. So I hope you did enjoy today's video. It's a bit of an erratic one, so apologies for that. Hopefully the next one will be a bit better, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. If you haven't liked any of the videos, make sure you like all of them. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give me any feedback if you have any, and I'll catch you in the next one. And that is the end of that. Good luck.